Hello, welcome back to Elephant in the Room number 5. Ooh, Tony. So, we back here again. Before we even start, I want to give a thanks to everybody that subscribed to my channel. It means a lot. We're almost halfway to 100. That's the first goal we're going to make. I mean, hopefully we'll get to 1 million and better. But I always want to show my appreciation. I mean, I'll have a patrons page up soon for anybody that's looking to help me along my journey. You know, good stuff like that. But I want to talk about something a little different tonight. I wanted to talk about something that we as Americans hear a lot about, and a lot of people say they understand, but not many people really look into. You know what I mean? I'm sure everyone goes down the rabbit hole every once in a while, but I want to talk about some conspiracies, real and theories. We're not really going to go into conspiracy theories tonight because that's not really what I want to talk about, but I did want to talk about some things that the government has actually done, or at least made plans to do. Alright, so before we get any farther, obviously we got Tony back. It's my guy. It's good people. I had somebody else that was supposed to come in, but he bailed on me because, bitch. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. Whenever you get a chance to hit me back, it's fine. We'll figure something out maybe.
He's still a bitch.
Alright, man, but like I said, man, when you hear conspiracy theory, what do you think?
Organized insanity.
Explain.
If I hit conspiracy, my entire thought is like things like the moon landing wasn't real, things that you could obviously prove that have happened, but you're saying they're not true. Conspiracy people immediately associate us with ideas that are insane, entirely not real. They couldn't possibly be explained, and people are just like, no, that's real.
Yeah.
That's my idea of a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people think, because we got a lot of bad,
That's what a lot of people
really, really bad conspiracy theories, like the moon landing didn't happen, or that's not as bad as one. There's a lot of evidence.
No, that's
on
the
both sides.
most.
All right, so let me refix what I just said. We got a lot of bad ones, like flat Earth. If you really think that the world is flat, you can click off on podcast. It's okay, but you might not be able to understand what we're talking about anyway. So we ain't gonna worry about the flat earthers. This is not the thing. What we are gonna talk about today is something that a lot of people heard about a little bit on the Joe Rogan podcast or a bunch of other things, and I'm sure, you know what I mean, it's been around for a while. But I want to talk about Operation Northwoods. Ooh, you ever heard of that?
Minutely. Real basic structure of it.
Alright, so that's probably what a lot of people think. You tell me what you know so I can tell you what I know.
It would be much easier if you just break it down.
Alright, so when we had JFK as president, this is one of the things that made him stand out as a president. The fact that he shut this shit down as hard as he did, when his brother was one of the chiefs of staff that brought the plan to him. You know what I mean? But the plan was, we had a lot of shit going on with the Cold War at the time. Alright, before I even get into the plan, we had a lot of shit going on with the Cold War at the time. We had all this shit going on with Russia, and Castro had turned into a communist. And our biggest problem was we couldn't have a communist country friendly with Russia that close to our borders. Now, obviously, before I go any farther, I am not a motherfucking expert. This is just what I spent a couple hours of my actual time looking into, like, actual government shit and not just nonsense on YouTube, you know what I mean? But they made a couple, there was a bunch of different parts to the plan. You know what I mean? That, like I said, they couldn't have Russia putting nukes right off the Florida coast, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous. So, and it was getting down to the wire with the shit. I mean, obviously everyone knows about all the embargoes and all that type of shit. So these guys brought the plan to him, like, alright, we don't want to really go to war with Cuba if we're not going to war with Russia. Because if we spark off with these communists, most likely we're going to spark off against everyone. But we need to get rid of Castro. There's like hundreds of documented cases of attempts on Castro. Like, my personal favorite was an exploding cigar. Yeah. This is one of the things I know everyone's heard about. If you've heard about Castro, man. The man was smoking a cigar, put it in his ashtray to talk his shit to his people, and it fucking exploded. Now, before I even go, I don't, like, no villains are good people. You know what I mean? But there are the fucking rankings. That man's up there in some bad people shit.
If someone's trying to blow you up with a cigar, you in there.
For the enemy of the U.S. to live for that fucking long as a leader of another country is amazing. Regardless of what time period it was. You know what I mean? So they had all this shit going on with him, and so these advisors brought up the plan. So we need to get the public of America to be okay with us taking out Castro without starting the next fucking world war. So if we got to make basically the whole world look at it like, I mean, we're the good guys in the situation, so we ain't going to war with everybody. So there are three major plans. The first plan was to have American soldiers disguised as Cuban soldiers to attack Guantanamo Bay, kill a couple people, and and run out. Start a rebellion like that, like, look, they attacked us first, now we got to take out all of them, blah, 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 blah. The second one involved a ship which would take off from port with a bunch of people, land out of sight, unboard everybody, and then they would blow up a drone ship. And that's one of the things that blew my mind when I first heard it, is they got drone technology in JFK's time. And we're just hearing about what our government is getting into with it recently. Like, I didn't really start hearing about drone bombs, attacks, and shit till like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Probably a little longer, probably like 10 years now. But either way, it's not that long of a time. That's not back when JFK was president. I mean, that's fucking crazy. So, and then they had another plan. This is where so many people think 9/11 was an inside job. Because the original plan was to take a jetliner full of college kids, which were actually military people, have them take off, land a plane, or not land a plane. Either one. There was two different options for this. You could have real college kids in there and really do this to Americans, because there ain't no way to like fake that those were American citizens and people will really believe you. Or you could do it with military soldiers, take off, land, get rid of all them IDs, change clothes in the military, set off another military plane that was disguised as a regular joint, plane the same numbers and everything as the one they took off with, and blow them the fuck up, or have it taken over by Cuban refugees inside the plane and then crash the plane into American citizens. These were all the different ways that these motherfuckers were thinking about getting America behind them to go to war with Cuba. And this is also the reason so many people are so convinced that if this was a plan back in the 60s, obviously the motherfucking government knows it's a plan. If nobody else knows it was a plan, even if they didn't declassify it yet, Bush and them all knew that this was a thing when JFK was president. This is common in their circles. We didn't hear about it until, I didn't hear about it until recently. I mean, I just started looking into shit a lot more as I got older too.
Like recently.
Yeah, there you go. So that's basically Operation Northwoods. That was the plan, basically, to get American citizens riled up by using fake Cuban soldiers in a couple different ways, as I just explained to you, to kill off Americans, real citizens, to create upheaval to be able to go to war with Cuba. That sounds just like what the fuck happened in 9/11.
I was just going to ask you if you honestly believe that 9/11 wasn't US.
I don't know. I mean, for me, there's a lot of evidence that points to yes.
Yeah.
This is when our government was real into a regime change war. They still are. But that's when they first started really getting into it. They was real grippy
I
with
believe
everything.
personally that we really wanted to put a president that we could believe in, that we could really trust in 100%, and we were given 9/11, which is blast points that were proven they were 3,000 degrees hotter than they should have been to cut steel beams that should not have ever been sliced.
I mean, there's the whole.
Steel beams are sliced in at a diagonal a 45-degree angle that should never have been cut.
Hold on, I don't want to say the wrong number. I'm pretty sure it's building 7. Is that the right number for the third building that went down in New York? Crystal, you got a phone. His girl Crystal's back here on the camera doing the Google stuff for us. We don't want to look retarded and just talk nonsense. Let me see my phone. Thank you.
I'm not entirely sure.
I'm going to search it because I'm pretty sure it's building 7. But the building that didn't get hit by any of the planes.
And it's a lot of the Pentagon. They claim to be hit by the plane. The entire, the structural, the significant, Jesus Christ.
All right, so I'm right. Tower 7. Exactly. That was the one that didn't get hit by the plane, but still blew up just as perfectly as the other two did. So a lot of people argue about how the first 2 towers went down and shit. Nobody really can argue with the fact that the third one's weird. Now the argument from the government side of stuff is there was diesel tanks, I want to say, in the basement.
Yep.
And the diesel tanks exploded because there's tunnels between the World Trade Center buildings. And the tunnel got hot, the diesel exploded and created a fire, and the explosion just right for the building to fall straight down.
But at the same time, you're saying that diesel burns at a different temperature than jet fuel itself does, which is way hotter, almost twice the temperature.
Exactly. So that's what people are arguing about, if jet fuel isn't hot enough. But then again, you gotta remember the explosion part of it. And that's what they're using, is that the building 7, maybe the framework wasn't up to code as it should have been, and the explosions from the first 2 towers caused explosion through the tunnel through the basement, and it blah 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 blah.
But the explosion itself would have been jet fuel based from that plane hitting the actual tower itself.
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's nothing else that can burn that hot except the jet fuel itself. It's the only combustible.
No, but you still get the explosion from the diesel.
I understand,
but
it's coming, or diesel.
No, I'm not saying the burning temperature is not enough to melt it, which you're fucking right. But it might have been enough to blow out the beams.
To break the beams out, yeah.
But even if it broke out the beams, would it be good? Would it have broke out the beams in such a perfect way, in every single beam at one time, so the whole building could fall perfectly down?
Absolutely.
That's like the whole question there. So do I think 9/11 was an inside job? I don't know. I think we should ask Trump.
I think we shouldn't ask Trump.
No, I mean, he likes to run his mouth a lot. Maybe he'll keep it funky. Maybe he'll keep it funky with us about something that actually matters for once. I mean, everyone's talking about like raiding Area 51.
Amen.
I'm down to raid Area 51, man. But like at the same time, what you got to realize is that motherfuckers will kill you.
Amen.
There could be a million of you. Alright, so I know you've seen Iron Man. Let me explain this to all you motherfuckers out there that really think that raiding Area 51 is a good idea. Let's go fucking do it. You ever see Iron Man? You remember before he was Iron Man, when he was just Tony Stark, the very first Iron Man. Okay. This mother fed up. He had the presentation of his new missile, and it was just one bomb that they shot off. And first off, there was like 6 other bombs in the fucking launcher that he had on there. He set one bomb off, and the one bomb didn't explode, turned into like 25 little fucking bombs, and these little bombs hit the whole side of the mountain, and the whole shit went. If you think a million people are gonna run through that, you're crazy. Now I would hope to say our government wouldn't kill us over going to Air 51, which is why I like the whole let's do it, because you're not wrong. If they ain't gonna shoot us, if nobody takes fucking guns with us and everybody got cameras, they shouldn't actually shoot you. But they are gonna take a lot of motherfuckers to jail. And the chances of you actually getting in the door, if you really think you're gonna get in the front door of Air 51, if they actually have alien technology in that motherfucker, which I've been said, man, if they got alien technology in Area 51, they moved it when people found out that there was a motherfucking Area 51. You think they're gonna keep that shit there? Absolutely. And they're the government, they got $1 trillion. Sorry, we had our video cut out there for a second. But like I was saying, they got trillions of dollars to spend on military technology. What's better military technology than the alien technology? Because if you remember, if you watch that podcast with Joe Rogan and that dude that said he was working at Area 51, what the fuck is his name? Robert something. He got like a movie on Netflix, a whole other documentary.
I was about to say the word Robert, that's all I remember.
Hold on, let me look this motherfucker up. I love the internet, man. I love the internet because I don't like looking stupid, so at least you can look this shit up. Kazar, what is that? Lazar. Robert Lazar. Yeah, I don't even need to look it up. I got that shit. I know 100% that that's the right thing. So Robert Lazar is the scientist that said he worked at Area 51. And yeah, all this motherfucking evidence to say he worked at Area 51, including this one thing, which is really the thing that gets me the most out of the whole story, is he said that there was this isotope 115 is a thing that the spacecraft the aliens were used for fuel. And the whole science community said you're a liar because there is no isotope 115. And then they discovered there was an isotope 115. Exactly. We just didn't know how to make it stable. So our shit was unstable, but we knew that it existed now. Now, that right there is enough for me to be like, alright, I kind of believe it. You might have been working somewhere. The fact that they scrubbed his college, they scrubbed all his work shit, and the government doesn't just scrub people's shit. Like, if you're working for the government and they, your dumbasses, let you get in a paper saying that you work for that office, and then you go back and say they didn't work there, and they can pull the paper up that says, well, what about this right here that says he was working there in this time? What about this phone book that has him in your directory doing this? You know what I mean? That's the type of shit that lets you know, like, well, even if he's not telling 100% the truth, he's telling some
Yeah.
of it, at least. You know what I mean? It's enough to look at him and wonder what he's talking about.
It's a paper trail.
So what's your take on conspiracy theories and such?
As much as I want to disagree with all of it, there's enough information plausible and literally available to the American public that like you're forced to literally question things that you might just accept, like the 9/11 attacks, the attack on the Pentagon, the parameter, the measurements of the hole made by the
weirdest
plane.
thing about the Pentagon for me.
Plane.
The weirdest thing about, all right, you want to talk about the plane. The weirdest thing about the Pentagon for me is where you see a picture with a plane in the Pentagon.
Have you seen?
You seen a wing?
You ever see the cameras on that entire building?
And have you ever seen a plane there?
Not one.
A piece of a plane,
Not
a
one.
wing, a
Nothing.
tail, a motherfucking rotor, a cockpit,
whole-
a little black motherfucking box.
The hole itself created was like 23 feet. I don't believe this entirely. I don't know if it's entirely true. Like 23 or 24 feet. Like smaller than it should have been for a whole width of a plane to hit that building. It's
Now,
gone.
you know what got blown up in the Pentagon? Well, you know what got hit? What part of the Pentagon got hit?
I don't, actually.
It's the tax papers. It was the accounting office. That's what got hit in the Pentagon.
Exactly.
The day after, they admitted to losing trillions of dollars on the news. And they didn't want to admit how they lost the money.
There's money gone.
And now there's money gone. What paper trail?
The paper's been...
What paper trail? It's gone. It got blown up by terrorists.
Exactly. We'll blame like any foreign in the Middle East and we have it now. It's gone.
Another thing that's not a conspiracy, I didn't even want to really get on a conspiracy tonight, but another thing that's not a conspiracy is this movie that I just saw that came out on Netflix called The Great Hack. That shit's terrifying. That's scary shit, because, I don't know, I don't like to think of myself as one way or the other. I would probably be one of these persuadables that they talk about. For those that haven't seen this movie on Netflix, I definitely suggest it. I hate suggesting any type of movie or anything like that. They ain't paying me for this shit. But, you guys could pay me though. But, the major thing that they do, alright, let me explain to you like this before you go see them, if you haven't got a chance to see it. In Trinidad, there's two major political groups. They have the Indians, and they got the blacks. So, what their plan was to work with the millennials. They couldn't make it political because then millennials, you don't care no more. It's political, I can't do anything about it. It was the way most people feel about it. So, they did something that was political and strong. It started with the millennials, and then other people started to pick it up and use it as a political platform. And it was, I think it was Don't Go, or Do Go? Do? Don't do. I believe you're right. I think it's Don't Do. So the whole plan was to get all of these millennials to not vote, is what it would seem in the beginning of it. The whole thing was anti-politics and blah, blah. But what these smart motherfuckers realized that the population didn't realize is that Indian kids are way more worried about what their parents have to think about them and how they say about them. They're way harder on their kids.
Amen.
Than most black families. Y'all tell you how the fuck you want. I don't care. It's the truth, because they proved this shit. They won this election like this. So these motherfuckers got all of the young kids to go with this shit. All the Indian kids were like, oh, it's a fad. I can do it, and I'm gonna look cool. I'm gonna be part of something that my whole group of people are part of. And the black kids are also the same, but they're much more dedicated to the cause. You know what I mean? If they say they're not going to vote, then most of them really aren't going to vote. Yeah. So when it came down to election day, all the Indian kids' parents made their little asses go out and vote. Not only did they make them go out and vote, they made them go out and vote for who they wanted them to vote for. And they did it. And the black kids stayed home because they didn't do. No, we don't do. And they won the fucking election just like they wanted them to. They were working for the Indian political squad, and they won. There's no argue. Y'all can argue, but there's country after country that they did this to, and then they came and got Trump elected.
And it blows my mind.
It's crazy. It's
still in office now.
And it's all from Facebook.
And
It's
I
all
remember,
from
I remember
Facebook.
thinking, like, I was actually in a state prison when he got elected. I remember thinking, as he got elected, like, there's no fucking way this will last. Like, it has to be a joke. He
You would
can't
hope.
survive. We are almost to the second term now. That is still a thing.
Please do not vote
is
for
still-
Trump.
Please, for the love of God, do
I don't
not.
give a fuck if I don't care if you vote for your mom. I don't
Amen.
care.
Don't vote for Trump.
Don't vote for Donald Trump. Let's make that the motherfucking slogan for
Amen.
everybody.
Just do not vote for
Just not Trump. I don't care who it is.
Not
Just not Trump. Like,
Shit.
fuck that. Fuck that guy.
I remember thinking while I was upstate, they were like, yo, he won the presidential election. Like, we're fucked. Like, everyone I talked to was like, bro, child molesters, like, out here. We cook now. And I
Bro.
was like, fuck.
But I don't know. I think a lot of
It's a
people.
real thing. But you know
Trump's
what?
not 100% bad, but he's definitely
He's
not,
not,
good.
but he's super dumb.
I don't.
That's the
I
thing,
just
this
don't like
guy,
how he's not.
His ideals are directed more towards keeping the popular vote, keeping people happy. It's not. He has nothing to do with his own personal like moral fiber. He doesn't mean dick about this country.
No.
He's more concerned with keeping people happy.
Yeah.
Where they're at, what's make them feel the way they want to feel. Like all the American holders could be hate Mexican people. Amen. That's what he wants.
What he really
But
plays
it's not,
on is
it's not
America's
moral
hate.
fiber.
What he really plays on is America's insecurity for themselves
Absolutely.
by playing on their hate for each other.
Absolutely. You're
'Cause
playing on people hating other races.
Before Trump really came back, when
Yeah.
the fuck did you hear people complain about Mexicans, man?
My dude.
And it's not like it's the
Yeah.
first time we targeted Mexicans.
My dude committed bankruptcy. He filed bankruptcy like 2 times before he was a president.
Mm.
That shit dead.
He's not my I put it this way, he's not all bad, but he's definitely not the person we should be in office. Like,
Amen.
we deserve someone presidential as a country, man. And I hate to say it like that because it sounds petty when it's the overall blah blah blah. But no, I don't think it is. I don't think it's petty because I think that we deserve someone that can represent every single person in America with dignity and respect and compassion for his
You
fellow
can't
man.
call it petty when you go from George W. Bush Jr., which is just garbage, to Obama. You're like, oh, there's hope, to Trump. We've gone from like, oh, we can fix this shit to like, oh, we're cooked. Good luck. Like, it's really what it comes down to. You're left with a president who's like, I'm in this for the bread. Whatever's gonna like me, I'm gonna like me. I'm gonna re-elect him. Fuck y'all. It's money based.
Well, I gotta find the name of this. I think it's something analytics. What you talking about?
I have no idea what to say at this point.
Hold on, I just want to talk about this because we're talking about conspiracies, not conspiracy theories for the most part, but conspiracies.
That have actually been accomplished and or produced.
Yeah, and this is the craziest conspiracy that's happened in so long. Like, Facebook was literally selling our data without any of our knowledge, and if you're going to sell my shit without my knowledge, that sounds like theft to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to be using my data points to get motherfuckers elected and shit, yep, Cambridge Analytica. These are the people. These are the people. And like they got him elected because when it comes down to it, you know your parents, I know mine. Most people are stuck one way or another. It's like 45% of the country. So you only got really like 10% of the country to play with any type of thing. It's people like me, as much as I hate to say that, and people like you, people that don't want to be stuck on one idea, so we're open to everything. You know what I mean? And they would take us, they'd send all our data, what ticks us off, what we like, what we dislike, what we block from our Facebooks and share everything like that. And they would take that and shoot to these people, and they have algorithms on how to piss you off. And the reason I say like me is because I'm on Facebook, not anymore. I am not a fan of Facebook, but I do get on there to keep everything updated for my YouTube channel and everything like that. But at the end of the day, these motherfuckers will just bombard you. Once they get your data and your IP address for your phone or whatever, your Google account, they would just bombard you with videos. Like, how many videos did you see in the election of Hillary's crooked? These are the people that invented crooked Hillary. They have videos on the documentary. I really suggest people go watch it. They got videos on the documentary of these motherfuckers bragging, like, oh yeah, like I'm the one that came up with the idea for the crooked Hillary and the 2 O's and the crooked being a pair of handcuffs. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's crazy, and these people have done it, man. They got Mark Zuckerberg. That's why he was in Congress when all that shit happened. He went on there looking all retarded, talking about, no, we didn't know anything about that, and blah, 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 blah. Man, these motherfuckers are crazy, and they They won.
They did.
That's the scary part. Not only did they win with us, but they're over there doing this Brexit shit. Everything else, and like, I wish I understood Brexit. I look into it a little bit, but I really haven't looked into it as much as I should, because at the end of the day, it's not America, and nothing I really do over here is going to influence what they got going over there. So I wish y'all the best in England, the UK, everything else, man. Good luck with y'all. But the whole Brexit thing, I don't know. All I know is it's about independence, but half of them don't want to leave the joint, and the other do. Leave me a comment if you're from the UK or something. Please tell me.
Definitely leave a comment. As much as I want to argue about that, I don't nearly as much about this as I should.
I know
I'm
nothing
definitely
about
passionate about it, but I don't nearly as much as I should.
Oh, that's one of
Definitely
the things I've learned growing up is I don't know as nearly as much
Yeah.
as I want to about anything.
I think I know
I'm
shit,
a
but
very
I
open person. That's one of the things
Yeah.
I loved about doing this podcast, is because I get to talk to people. I get to pick people's brains and see their point of views and stuff. And I told somebody else, man, like, I like people's truth. Everybody came from a different place. Everybody's doing different places in their lives. Everyone's got different goals and ambitions and shit. And I want to know. Let me know. Let me hear the world. Maybe it'll let us all connect a little bit, some type of way. Seeing it, little fellow man. To wrap up for the night, man. I appreciate you coming on with me. I know you weren't expecting to come on, but people like you. People like you. It's always good to have you on, man. I enjoy talking to you and digging deeper in your mind. 'Cause you're my boy, but nobody really has opportunities to go into deep conversations like this often. You know what I mean? You gotta really sit down and take time to have a conversation with someone every now and then. But for everyone that stuck through the whole thing, I always appreciate you guys, man. My subscribers are everything to me, and I'm trying to get you guys' best commentary, best content as possible. I'll be going to a music festival on August 2nd to the 3rd. I'm gonna get some new ideas on the podcast, get some new people to talk to, get some artists and stuff. I love talking to artists, man. They always think about stuff a little bit different. If you're watching this and you would like to come on a show, you're in Pennsylvania, please take the time to hit me up. My email address is in the link below. Is there anything you want to say to the world before you get off here tonight?
Definitely the same thing as the first two recordings that we've done together. Just definitely take the information you've heard, look into it. If anything, research it. All the theories you've heard, definitely look into them. Definitely. If you disagree with them at all, put them in the comments. Definitely think about them. Absolutely.
Absolutely agree. We got
Make your own ideas.
We got the most knowledge ever possible at any point in humanity at our fingertips at any point during the day.
Absolutely.
And I don't think people take advantage of it the way they should.
Absolutely.
I also think that the internet was bad though, because motherfuckers don't feel like they need to go to college now, and I don't know why a further education would ever be a bad thing. Even if it's not completely necessary, educating yourself on anything is always a good idea. You should always try to take the time to educate yourself.
Even if you disagree with the ideas that come out of it, learn.
Learn.
Always learn.
Always learn. Never stop learning. I try to tell my kids that all the time, and I try to be an example for that. Like, I don't really trust the news as much as I should, but watch it. Just watch it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Understand that they have a agenda, just like any other humans in the world. They're trying to push something on you, and only half of what they're telling you is what it really is.
Just pick that. That's important.
If you haven't hit the fucking subscribe button by this point,
You should have.
you should have. You know you should have. We're gonna keep popping out this content for y'all, man. I really appreciate everyone that's watching the show, man. You guys have a good weekend. All right.